The lost VHS tape footage from a haunted asylum. Hope. Tonight, if you're lying in the dark with your headphones on, make sure the door is locked and don't stare at the screen for too long. I have a story to tell you, but remember, once you start, don't stop halfway. This is a lost VHS tape from inside an abandoned asylum. And maybe you shouldn't watch it alone. Everything was normal until it wasn't. If you're lying in bed right now with your headphones in, I suggest you lock the door and maybe, just maybe, don't look directly at the screen while I'm talking, because tonight I'm going to tell you a story, one that starts ordinary, familiar, just like your own life, until something slipped through. This is the story of a VHS tape that should have stayed lost. A tape that changes things if you watch it too many times. You don't believe in curses? Good. Neither did I. I've never really been the superstitious type. You know, the kind of person who double checks, leaves a light on in the hallway, gets nervous walking past mirrors. That wasn't me. I liked horror movies, grew up on them, but they were just stories, fun, exaggerated. They didn't follow you after the credits rolled. That's what I used to believe. Until a few months ago when I moved into a quiet little house on the edge of town. It's nothing fancy, just a small one-bedroom place with an overgrown yard and creaky floorboards. But after years of city life sirens at 3 a.m., paper-thin apartment walls, the constant feeling of being on top of people, I craved silence, solitude, and that's exactly what I got. For the first few days, everything felt peaceful. Birds in the morning breeze through the trees, the kind of quiet that lets you finally hear your own thoughts. I spent the weekend unpacking boxes, organizing shelves, dragging furniture across the floor by myself. It was almost meditative until I opened the garage. It was detached, set a little way back behind the house, more like an old wooden shed really, musty, forgotten. Inside, past some rusted paint cans and a stack of broken patio chairs, I found a milk crate wedged behind an old lawnmower. Just junk inside mostly. Tools, loose nails, tangled wires. But at the bottom, there it was. A black VHS tape. No label. No writing. Just dust. I held it in my hand and stared at it for a while. It felt colder than it should have been, like it had been sitting somewhere darker than this garage for a very long time. Out of curiosity or maybe boredom, I took it inside. I still had a VCR tucked away in a moving box. I'd kept it for nostalgia, thinking I might rewatch some old home videos one day. So I set it up, plugged the yellow and white cables into the TV, inserted the tape, and hit play. At first, it was nothing but static. Then slowly the image faded in. A long sterile hallway. Fluorescent lights flickering overhead. Dirty white floor tiles. Walls lined with numbered doors, each one closed, except for one slightly open near the end. No people. No movement. Just silence. In the bottom corner of the screen, there was a timestamp. February 17th, 1997, 3:41 a.m. For a moment, nothing happened. The camera stayed perfectly still. The hum of static was the only sound, low and constant. Then, the camera began to move, not shakily like handheld footage. It glided unnaturally smooth, down the hallway, past each door. No footsteps, no breathing, just motion. I couldn't look away. At the far end, the camera turned slowly, almost like it knew exactly where to go. It stopped in front of a door. Room 302. The camera lingered there, as if waiting. And then sudden static. Cut to black. That was it. The tape ended. I remember sitting there in the dim light of my living room, staring at the blue screen remote in my hand. It was maybe a minute long, if that. No story, no explanation. But something about it didn't sit right. It didn't scare me, not exactly. It just felt wrong. I rewound the tape and watched it again. Then a third time. Every detail, every shadow. Looking for something I might have missed. I didn't realize how late it had gotten until my phone buzzed. A message from an old friend, Liam. We hadn't spoken in over a year. His message just said, "Hey, did you upload that hospital video?" I replied. What? What video? He sent me a link. A forum post titled, "Unmarked VHS Abandoned Asylum Footage." It was the exact video I'd just watched. Someone had recorded it from a screen and uploaded it. Dozens of comments. Some people trying to enhance the footage. Others guessing which asylum it might have been. But one comment stood out. Don't watch it more than twice. The third time is when it starts. I didn't sleep well that night. Not because I was scared, just unsettled, like I'd been holding my breath for too long. Around 3:40 a.m., I woke up suddenly. There was no sound, no movement, but the TV screen was on, blue. The tape was still inside. I could have sworn I'd turned it off. The next morning, I took the tape out, put it back in the milk crate, shoved it behind boxes in the garage. Out of sight, out of mind. Or so I thought. Later that day, my neighbor Paul approached me while I was outside watering the lawn. He was quiet, oddly quiet. "You all right last night?" he asked. "Saw your lights flickering around 3:30. I paused. "Yeah, just couldn't sleep." He glanced toward my garage. "Strange. I thought I heard a siren, like an ambulance, but it sounded like it was coming from inside your house." He walked away before I could say anything. That night, I unplugged the TV, made sure every light was off, double-checked the windows and doors. Still, I woke up again. 3:41 a.m. This time, no sound, no lights, just a cold spot near the end of my bed. And the strangest part, the VHS tape was back inside the house, lying in front of the TV, like it had crawled there. Something isn't quite right. I didn't touch the tape again. I told myself, it must have been me. I must have forgotten. Maybe sleepwalked. Maybe just misplaced it. That's what I wanted to believe. But it was back on the carpet, facing the television. I stared at it for a long time, not daring to pick it up. Eventually, I grabbed a towel, wrapped it around the tape like it was some kind of biohazard, and tossed it in a cardboard box. I sealed the flaps, taped it shut, and shoved it into the farthest corner of the garage under a pile of old winter clothes. I didn't hear anything that night. But the next morning, something was different. The house felt heavier, like the air had thickened, like there was a weight in the walls. I chalked it up to nerves. Maybe the story online had gotten into my head. That's all it was, I told myself. Except when I opened my laptop that afternoon, I noticed something strange. The screensaver was different. I didn't remember changing it. It was no longer the default one. Now it showed a black and white photo, faded, grainy. A hallway, the same hallway from the video. Same tiles, same lights, same slightly ajar door at the end. I closed the laptop. Hard. Did I accidentally screenshot the tape? Maybe I paused it on that frame without thinking. I wasn't sure anymore. I was losing track of the little things, where I put my keys, whether the fridge door was left open, whether I locked the bathroom window. Things that never used to slip my mind. But the worst part wasn't inside the house. It was online. People kept messaging me, random usernames, accounts I didn't know, saying things like, "You saw the door, didn't you? She's already inside. Don't let her reach the stairs." At first, I ignored them, thought it was some coordinated joke, some viral ARG, internet weirdos messing around. But then I got an email. No subject, no message body, just an attachment a video file. Same timestamp as before, February 17th, 1997, 3:41. But this time something was different. The hallway again, silent, still. But now the door at the end, the one that used to be just slightly open, was wide open, and someone was standing in it, too far away to make out clearly, but you could see the shape. Human, motionless, facing the camera, not walking, not waving, just standing. And then the file ended. I didn't download it, didn't even save it, just deleted the email and closed my laptop. That night I dreamt of the hallway. Over and over I walked down it slowly, couldn't turn around, couldn't run. The doors on either side began to creak open one by one, just as I passed. Inside each room, empty wheelchairs, scraped floors, old medical charts, and behind me, footsteps. Always just one step behind. I woke up covered in sweat, heart pounding in my ears. It was 3:41 a.m. Again. When I got up to get water, I found something on the kitchen floor. A page torn from a notebook. No idea how it got there. On it, written in shaky black ink, room 302 isn't empty anymore. That's when I called Liam. He's the only person I trusted enough to tell everything. I explained the video, the tape, the message, everything. To my surprise, he didn't laugh. He just asked one thing. Did you watch it a third time? I hesitated. Maybe twice. I think. Don't watch it again. I'm serious, he said. That's when it starts to notice you. It, I asked. He didn't answer that part. Just told me to get rid of the tape for good. So that morning I did. I drove it out of town, 30 miles to an old river dumping spot. I took the box tape, still wrapped in the towel, and hurled it into the water. I watched it sink, and for the first time in days, I felt a tiny bit lighter. I came home, took a hot shower, opened the windows, even played music to shake off the tension. Everything was going to be fine now. Everything was normal again. Until later that evening, I was watching a show on my laptop. Something light, something distracting, and I got up to use the bathroom. When I came back, the screen had gone black. Then, without me touching anything, the video started playing. Not a file, not a link, just started. Same hallway. Only now, the camera moved faster, less smooth, like something was behind it, chasing it. The door at the end room 332 was wide open, and there she was, standing in the doorway, closer now. Not a shadow anymore, You could almost see her face, pale, distorted, her head tilted slightly as if curious. And just as the camera reached her, the video glitched, the screen froze, and then the sound began. A high-pitched whine, like a dentist's drill or an old television turned up too loud. My ears rang. I slammed the lid shut. And then, the knock. 3 soft knocks at my front door. I didn't move. I couldn't. Another knock. I got up, slowly walked to the peephole. No one was there. But when I looked down on the welcome mat, here it was. The VHS tape, soaking wet, covered in river mud. The rules begin to reveal themselves. I didn't sleep that night. I didn't even go back inside. I stood there on the front steps, barefoot, cold, staring down at that thing. The VHS tape, matted with weeds and river scum. Impossible. I threw it in the river. I saw it sink. But there it was, back, like it never left. Eventually, when the sun came up, I picked it up using a trash bag, careful not to touch it, and shoved it inside the freezer. I don't know why. My brain couldn't process what was happening, and the freezer felt like, I don't know, a place things didn't move, a place things stayed dead. But it didn't matter, because by then I'd already broken a rule. I just didn't know it yet. Liam called that afternoon. I told him everything. His voice was tight, scared in a way I'd never heard before. There are rules, he said. I don't know all of them, but I've seen some people talk about it on old forums. Deep web stuff, places you shouldn't go looking unless you're already caught. He paused. Once you watch the tape twice, it starts to learn you. Not just follow learn. Your routines. Your house. Your voice. I didn't say anything. It's not the tape that's haunted, he continued. It's what the tape shows. It's a door. Once you've seen her, she's seen you. He sent me a list someone had posted, a supposed survival list, crude but specific. I remember it exactly. Do not watch the tape more than twice. If you see her in your dreams, do not speak to her. Room 302 is never empty. Do not go inside. She doesn't knock unless she's already inside. Don't let the footage run past 3:44 a.m. If she speaks your name, it's too late. I wanted to laugh. A week ago I would have. Now I just wrote them down. By hand. Taped the list to the fridge like a recipe for staying alive. That night, I did everything right. I turned off all the lights, unplugged the TV, covered every mirror, didn't look out the windows. I even slept with noise-canceling headphones on to block out any sounds. Still, I had the dream. The hallway again. This time, it was longer, endless. Room 302 wasn't at the end anymore. It was beside me. Its door was open. The light inside flickered, and I could hear something breathing. Not loud, not fast, just steady, watching. I didn't enter. I just kept walking. And then I heard her. My name, whispered gently from the dark, right behind me. I woke up gasping, clawing at the sheets, hands shaking. It was 3:43 a.m. I fumbled for my phone, squinting at the light, and saw I had a notification someone had sent me a video link. It was an unlisted YouTube upload titled Room 302 Live Feed. I opened it. Bad decision. It was static at first, then flickering images. The hallway from a new angle. But this time, it wasn't empty. There were people, 3 of them, huddled in the corner. Patients, maybe. Their clothes were stained. They were trembling, whispering to each other. And then the door creaked. She entered, slowly. Not walking, gliding. Long hair soaked like she'd been pulled from a river. Her mouth was too wide, smiling. But her eyes didn't move. They stared forward, unblinking, like she could see beyond the screen. One of the people looked directly into the camera. His lips moved. I leaned in. He mouthed the words, "Wake up." Then the video ended. Except I was awake. Wasn't I? Things got worse after that. Lights started flickering on their own. The fridge opened by itself even though I taped it shut. And once, I swear to God, I woke up in a different room. I had fallen asleep in my bed, curtains drawn, doors locked. But I woke up on the living room couch, with the TV on. No sound, just flickering static, like a blank channel but faintly glowing. There was something written on the screen, handwriting like someone traced letters in the frost. It said, "Stop watching." I unplugged the TV, cut the cable line. Didn't matter. The tape was back the next morning, sitting on the windowsill, dry, clean. No mud, no water damage. Like it had never left my house. Like it belonged there. I began to hear noises behind walls, like something crawling just inside the plaster. The worst was the mirror. I don't even remember looking into it. I'd taped it over days ago. But one night, I walked into the bathroom and the tape was peeled off, curled on the floor like dry skin. The mirror was uncovered, and for a second, I saw her, standing just behind me. She didn't move, just stared, her fingers long and too many resting lightly on my shoulder. I spun around. No one. But when I looked back, There was a word written in fog across the glass. Just one. Soon. I tried calling Liam again. No answer. I sent him a message, desperate, and he finally responded. Just 2 words. She called. That's when I understood. Once she knows your name, she never leaves. The twist in the tape. It's funny how quickly you start treating the abnormal like routine. I stopped trying to run, stopped unplugging the TV, stopped covering the mirrors, because at some point I realized it didn't matter. I was already inside the asylum. I just hadn't noticed the walls shifting around me. It was Thursday night when everything snapped. The dream came again. But this time it was different. I wasn't walking through the hallway. I was watching someone else. A young woman, late 20s maybe. Pale skin, short dark hair. She looked like she hadn't slept in weeks. She was walking down the same corridor you'd seen 100 times now. Same cracked tile, same flickering light outside room 302. But something felt off. The camera angle was too familiar. The perspective, the rhythm of the footsteps, it felt like mine. And then she stopped. At the door, room 302. Her hand reached for the knob, and just before she opened it, she looked at the camera. She looked directly at me and whispered, "You need to remember." I jolted awake, heart racing. But something was different. The VHS tape was gone. For the first time in weeks, it wasn't on the windowsill or the table or waiting near the player like a pet returning home. I searched everywhere. Nothing. Then I realized my phone was recording. The camera was on. The screen was black, but flickering slightly, like it was streaming a live feed. I picked it up and watched. It was me, but not here, not in my apartment. I was inside the hallway again. Only this time, I wasn't watching a dream. It was real. I was there. And the hallway, it had changed. It wasn't broken or peeling or cold anymore. It looked newer. Polished floors, fresh white walls, and fluorescent lights that hummed cleanly above. The nameplate next to room 302 wasn't rusted or worn, it gleamed. And the plaque said, "Patient L. Winters, status committed. 1996. Cause dissociative amnesia following traumatic hallucinations." Winters. My last name. My father's name. I stepped closer to the door on screen. The feed grew sharper, crisper. I could hear the air conditioning buzz through the speakers. And then something hit me. A sound I had buried so deep I didn't recognize it until it scraped its way out of memory. The voice from the tape. The same voice I had heard in the first recording, the girl sobbing in the background, begging not to be left alone in the dark. It wasn't some stranger. It was me. I couldn't breathe. I checked the internet, dug through the dark forums Liam mentioned, scanned every deep web entry tied to 302 Winters and Asylum footage, and then I found it. A forum post dated 2011. The title, "My Sister Was Committed for Seeing Things That Weren't There Now I See Them Too." In it, the poster described the tape, the hallway, the voice, the static that turned to words, and then this line. She kept saying, "Don't watch it. Burn it. Please. It knows your name. It knows our name." Posted by Liam. Liam wasn't a friend. He was my brother. A brother I had forgotten, or worse, being made to forget. That night, I went back to the river. I brought a hammer, a lighter, salt, whatever superstition I could carry. The tape was there, waiting again. But I wasn't scared this time. I played it one last time, and this time I watched all of it, not just the hallway. The camera pushed past 3:44 a.m. There were new scenes, people in hospital beds, faces blurred, screams echoing down tiled corridors, a single window with metal bars, sunlight bleeding through, and in the corner a small child, sitting still, back to the camera. I recognized the pajamas. They were mine. I was the one they locked away. I was the reason the footage existed. Whatever had happened in that asylum, whatever was done to me had been wiped from memory, sealed behind a series of rules. But the tape remembered. The tape wanted to be seen. And now I understood why. Because it was a curse left behind by the people who tried to silence it. A curse that only unlocked when someone recognized the truth, when someone remembered. I burned the tape that night, or tried to. It didn't catch, just smoked. So I smashed it again and again until the film inside twisted like a black ribbon fluttering in the wind. And as I walked back up to my apartment, I felt light. For the first time in weeks, the air was clean. No flickering lights, no whispers, no more hallway, no more room 302. Just silence. That was 3 nights ago. And last night, I woke up to find a package on my doorstep. No address, no name, just a note typed on hospital letterhead. Winters L. Your discharge is not complete. The footage must continue. Copy and distribute. Inside the package, a new VHS tape. Clean, pristine, untouched. But this time, the label was printed, not handwritten. in all capital letters. Tape 002, and beneath it for viewing after 3:44 am. So, if you're still listening, if this reaches you, don't try to help. Don't search for me. And whatever you do, don't watch the tape.